Hello my friends, how's everyone doing today? Welcome to my channel and welcome to hashtag Tag Tuesday. It's hashtag Tag Tuesday is an open collab hosted by me and everyone's welcome to join in. So you just post a video on Tuesdays about any tags that you're making. There's no prompts and use the hashtag. Be sure to link my channel and let everyone know I'm the host. And if I missed anything, the instructions will be in the my description box. So today I was, this month I'm working on fall and Halloween, so I just decided to stick with that today. So I went through, my Halloween stash that I already showed you, and I picked out these things from the stash that I showed you, plus this basket of actually, I think everything came from this basket that I didn't have, that I didn't show you. I forgot I didn't show you these. But these are like Tim Holtz, things. Plus, let me find a Tim Holtz thing. This is Tim Holtz here, I believe. So there's some things like that are Tim Holtz from his Halloween ephemera. And then there's some things like this from a paper pad that I had that was Halloween. I used up the rest of the paper pad, but I didn't use all of the journal cards and things like that. So I pulled some out of there, and here's what I have, what we're going to work on today. We're going to work on these, but I want to show you what I already did. So I wanted to do something to them besides just stick them in a journal. Like I already cut them out, and they could just go in a journal like this as ephemera. These are journal cards that I cut out from the scrapbook paper pad, 12 by 12 paper pad that I had. But I wanted to do something to them. So this is what I did so far. These are things from, I'll tell you if it's Tim Holtz or the scrapbook paper. So like this is from the scrapbook paper. Yeah, it's two-sided. That's how I can tell for one thing. Whoops. And so I took the little bits I did show you from my stash, like these little wooden pieces, and I attached one here. So this can be glued down as a page decoration, a pocket decoration, or whatever I want. But now it's ready to go, I feel like, with this little wooden ghost on here. Let me show you this one. We're going to do these today. This one is also from the scrapbook paper. And I put a little cluster up here of fabrics, just scrap fabrics that I actually showed you from my Halloween stash. And you see it's a Halloween themed card there. I've got a string. Got a string here I need to cut off, but there's a string there from what I sewed all across all of these little clusters. I glue them down with a little dot, pretty much, of Fabri-Tac to keep it in place, and so it doesn't move when I'm trying to sew over it. And then I go over, and there's a zigzag stitch across. There's 3 pieces there of fabric. So that's another one. Here is another one here. Little haunted mansion, which I got 2 there. Haunted mansion with at least 3 pieces there of fabric that I sewed as a little topper, or you could say it's a tag topper or tag decoration. I think if I were to leave these as is, I would call them journaling cards, but since I added a little topper, I'm going to call them tags or ephemera. So here's another Halloween-y one with some little scraps there. I think there's like 4 scraps on that one. And they're all sewn. I sewed through them all. Well, if I didn't sew through it, I will tell you, like the little ghost I just glued on, the little wooden ghost. And this was a cluster I made last year, and I just glued that on. I could have sewn through it, but I just went ahead and just glued that on. That's just a little piece too. This is actually Tim Holtz here. So this I would use as a pocket decoration or a page decoration. So isn't that cute? And it just adds a lot to it when you add a little something like that. Just a few scraps, and that was a little leaf. One of my little gold leaves that I showed you in my video where I made the pockets with the sequins and everything. And so here's a little. This is Tim Holtz, and it's a little owl here, like it's supposed to look like a little spooky owl. And I added this little owl kind of ribbon here. This is a ribbon, like grosgrain ribbon, and it is sewn through. I just straight stitched through it so it wouldn't cover up the owl too much with a zigzag. So it is sewn on also. Here's another one where I just glued on this witch's hat, little wooden piece again. Oops, I can keep dropping these. Got the dropsies here. But you can see this is a little Tim Holtz piece and a wooden hat, and I just glued that on. Whenever I glue the wooden pieces on, I use Fabri-Tac. It's holding them on just fine. I made quite a few, as you could see before the video. This is 2 pieces that I sewed on from underneath because I just wanted them peeking out like a little kind of tab where you can use it to poke it or push it in and out of an envelope or a tuck spot. So it's a ticket, partial ticket, and a little piece of, this is Aida cloth like you would use for a cross stitch, but that's a little Tim Holtz piece there. This is Tim Holtz, this piece here, and then this is a cluster that I had made last year. So I had this little wooden cat on here with some, little pieces of fabric and things. There's a piece of lace under there, and I just glued that down. And then this is sewn on here, a couple pieces that were in my stash, my Halloween stash. This is a tag from the scrapbook paper kit here. Another scrapbook paper kit piece with a couple pieces of fabric sewn right here on this edge. Thought that really turned out cute. This one was a bigger one. It's a Tim Holtz piece. See, it's blank on the back. And I added this little topper here, 3 pieces. And then this little cluster down here with a ghost on it. This is one of the wooden ghosts. So this is sewn on here, and this is glued on. I can't sew through those. Oh, this is a sticker. That's right. This is a sticker that I like a double layer sticker that I put on there. I thought it was, I have some wooden ghosts too. It's very similar, but that's a little like a 3D sticker on, that I made into a cluster there last year. So I already had those ready to go. And on this one, let's see, here it is. Drilling card from the scrapbook paper kit, and this is a little cluster that I just sewed on right there. So I didn't want to cover up too much, so I didn't want to put it in the middle here. So I just put it off to the side, but it's a little something added, and the idea was just to add something. So for these, right here, I want to do this. I want to add a little piece of my scrapbook paper behind, so a little, like a little frame behind, and then I added a little piece of fabric here, just one little piece of fabric, folded it over, and sewed through it. And I just think it adds some, I just want to add something, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be so complicated or anything, but I just wanted to add something. So what I'm doing, this is that same paper. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these down, and we'll just kind of make hopefully a quick work of getting some of these done. So this is as you can see, a chandelier. And these are all from the scrapbook paper pad that I had I think this one was from a couple years ago, and I used up the balance of it last year except for these cards. And usually isn't that how it is with you? Let me know if you usually if you use up your paper first and then have these left, all these journaling cards and things. I mean, I've used some, but there's so many, so it take a little while to use up usually. So I just want to glue these down on here, leave enough room to cut around, and we're going to cut around together, make a little frame. So I guess I can probably only get like 4, but I'll have some scraps to use for other things. And let me see, you know what I want to do? Let me see if I can get that off of there. I want to put the lighter ones, I forgot. I want to put the lighter ones on a darker piece. So I'm going to put see how it's a light background and the other one was a dark background. Yeah, I'll put something else right there in a second. Fortunately, this wasn't dry yet. But let me get it around the edges really good. This is just my art glitter glue. So we're going to put this one right here. The lighter ones are going to go on this darker piece here. There we go. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. I forgot. When I laid that down, I was like, oh, hold on a minute. Okay, so another dark one here. Let's do this. So I just, want to do something a little different, not just do them all the same. So you saw the ones I did first, and then these are going to be all on the scrapbook paper. And then the ones I'm showing you here, some of these I have doubles of. So I'm going to do something different with those still. I don't know what yet, but I'll figure something else out to do with those because I don't want to do those all the same either. Yeah, I just had tons. See, this is orange, so this could go on either one. Oh, that looks good on the darker one, so we'll say that one. This has a dark frame, and this is darker. I mean, wait, these go on the light. This goes on the dark. Let me put it over there on the dark paper so I see how many I can get out of that one. Here is a lighter one. That could go on the darker. I have more paper too, so let's see. So let's put one more darker one on here. This has a lot of orange in it, and okay, let's put this one in because I like the orange on this one with the orange dots here and the colorful dots. Let's do this one, and so I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm using, to cut these out, some scrapbook scissors. I call them scrapbook scissors, but they're really edging scissors left from my scrapbooking days. I don't scrapbook anymore, I junk journal now, but I'm glad I have these. I still use them. Okay, so if you have some and you forgot about them, I did forget about them at first when I first started junk journaling. They were in another drawer where I kept in my dining room, where I kept my scrapbook and stuff. And then one day I was cleaning that out and I was like, oh my goodness, I have all these scissors in here. And I immediately transferred them over to my crafty, my junk journal crafty stash. So and now everything's junk journal crafty stash. Long since cleaned out everything and got it all in my craft room. Okay. Oops. They're a little, if you've ever cut with these scissors, they're a little kind of, they don't always work the best, but I still just deal with it, try to cut the best I can with these, and I think the edges look cute, and, I like using them. I like to, if I wasn't going to use them, I would get rid of them, but, I'm using them, so as long as I'm using them, I don't feel like I need to get rid of them or anything, so. Because I have pinking shears that I just use for paper, so that looks good. And so I could just use those. I don't have to use these, but I want to use them since I have them, Why let them go to waste? So I figure you can make whatever size frame you want, wider or thinner. So that's up to, if you make some of these, that's up to you. But I think these will be cute with a little frame around them. And I like the little piece of fabric I put on that first one I showed you too, so I'm going to do that with these too, some type of little fabric to add to it. I could even add a cluster to some of them, but I think I'm just going to, sometimes just something different, like just that single piece of fabric added so much, I thought. Just that little touch of, I don't know, handmadeness instead of just cut out and stuck in a journal, which I have done and I will do again. But sometimes I want to just cut something out but stick it in a journal. Sometimes I want to do something extra. So, sometimes it's nice to leave bits and pieces for the person that gets my journals to do something with, and then sometimes it's nice just to have things that are handmade all ready to go and do whatever. I mean, something like this can be stuck in a pocket and it can still be made into a tuck spot or whatever, anything like that. So these three pieces I'm going to save for something, scrap project, and then these I'm going to get rid of. So, okay, so we cut all those out. Let's do the dark background ones now. And so let's glue, already glued that one down, that's right. And then these three. So I hope you all are going to have a good Tuesday. I am making this video on Sunday, so I can't tell you how my Tuesday's going yet, but I don't have much planned for this week except going to work and crafting. And I got a lot done last weekend. I'm trying to think of what extra. I've been trying to plan, like on my weekends I do my regular whatever, house cleaning and crafting and stuff like that, whatever I have to list in my Etsy or get my Etsy orders ready, things like that. That's all my regular stuff. And then I try to do at least one, what I call one extra thing. So this summer, I have a garden, a couple of gardens. I'm going to say, well, my whole yard. You know what I mean? I do stuff in the yard, like kill weeds. You know, I kill weeds, so I go kill a few weeds every weekend to keep up with that. And then, as far as gardening, I have my little, I'll have to do a little video for you. I would probably put it in a little short video, you know, the shorts. I'll go take a little video one, maybe this weekend still, because I still have time today, if I can get out there and do it. But a little video of my deck garden. So it's a little area on my, we have a deck that was, you know, put on this house when we built this house. But since then, my husband added another little side piece to the deck, a little extra part. And we were using it for something else, not my garden. We were using it for something else. And then we moved the something else that was on this part of the deck, this extra part. And I decided, well, I kind of talked to him about moving the something else that was on the deck. It's like a little hot tub. But it was kind of heavy for the deck. I don't know. I thought it was kind of too heavy for the deck. So I kind of talked him into moving it down to the ground. So we moved it off that part, the extra part of the deck. Okay, so we built another deck that's on the ground. So it's got a wood base under the hot tub, but it's on the ground and not up on, because our deck is not way up high, but it's not on the ground, it's way off the ground. So anyway, so we moved it off that extra piece. This was a couple years ago, right? A couple years ago. And I just want to make this a little bit thinner here. So we moved the hot tub. I'm going to call it a hot tub. It's usually cold though. He likes to go in it during the summer and stuff and cool off. Okay, so there's, let's see, where's my white pieces? One white piece here. Oh, this one's done. Okay. Oh, here's the ones that are not done. Okay, so there's one. Yeah, so we moved it off down to, I'm going to call it the flat deck on the ground. So we moved it down there. So then my plan was to make this part of the deck now, the new part, the extra part, into a garden area. So last year I grew, or tried to grow, vegetables up there and some flowers. And the vegetables, you know, some of them did okay and some of them didn't do so good. And I was like, you know, and the plants aren't cheap, and if they're hard to grow from seed, and I don't know, I just didn't have much luck with it. I got a few things, but not enough to make make it worth buying vegetable plants again, wasting that money and not really getting anything from it. It'd be cheaper just to buy the vegetables at the grocery store, even though the homegrown ones are, you know, supposed to be better for you, and you know, they're organic and all that. But if you don't grow, if nothing grows, then what good does it do you? It doesn't do you any good at all. So this year I just said I'm growing off flowers. So that's what I did. So I'm kind of experimenting with the flowers, the simple flowers that I like, to see what likes to grow there. Okay, there we go. That one is ready for something else. And so I'll have to take a little video. I've just got, you know, I probably mentioned it before, the types of flowers I have growing there. And now that they've been there for a month or so, they're starting to fill out. So they're not like giant or anything, but they are growing. And so certain flowers are doing well up there. And actually the flowers, it's kind of opposite of what I thought. There's a certain flower that I love that used to grow like prolifically in Florida. And I guess it's because it's more of a tropical flower. But they sell them here, and they're considered annuals here in North Carolina. They're perennials in Florida, but they're annuals here. So anyway, I thought they would do really good, and they're doing okay, but they're not doing great, you know. So I'm like, okay, now I know for next year. But they're vinca. I'm talking about vincas. And the one I knew would do, I felt like it would do well, and I thought it would do, you know, pretty good. That is impatiens. And that one, those are all, I think, doing really great. And I have geraniums. They're doing pretty good. I would like it to get quite a bit more, you know, grow quite a bit more and get quite a bit more, you know, get much larger. But we'll see how that does. It looks pretty, so I'm happy with it. I just would like to grow. I haven't fertilized anything either. Kind of just trying to see what they do without fertilizer. Okay, that looks good. So yeah, and then I planted another area. So quite a few years ago, I bought my own shed. And my son, my youngest son, and my husband put it together for me. Oh, I did a lot of work on it too, believe me. I was out there too, helping putting it together. So I should say, I forgot that I helped with it. I did a lot of work on it, believe me. So anyway, we put it together, I should say. And, but since then, in the last couple years, my husband built me a new shed, a bigger, nicer one. And so that shed that I bought is going to be taken down because we're kind of reorganizing our backyard too, along with everything else. So, so anyway, I made it like a little pretty little, it's like a cute little cottage in our backyard. And I'm making a little garden in front of it, you know, if you've ever seen them on Pinterest or whatever. They just look so cute with a little walkway and a little garden. So I'm working on that garden too. And I have the same flowers out there, except for some flowers, a vine that I had already in my garden. Okay, so I'm going to do these later because I'm going to run out of time here if I don't get busy. So I'm going to pick out some fabric here and see what we can do. Like we did this one, like I did this one with the little piece of fabric there. I think it's just, it's so simple, but I think it's so cute. You know what I mean? So let's, like these little pieces with the green in them. If there's one with green here, like that, like this one right here. Oh, it's the same one. Oh, I put this one on light. Here's the difference. This one's on the dark, and this one's on the light. Both look cute though, don't they? So I'll put a little dab. This is all I do. Let me put my pin in my art glitter glue because I just cleaned out that nozzle and it was like a brick in there. That middle nozzle on the art glitter glue, it was like solid as a rock. So I'm going to try to not let that happen again. So a little dab on the front and back. And I just put it right down to the paper. I didn't even try to make it stick up or anything. It's just that little something that looks so nice. And this has the green in it, so it looks cute with the green eek there. That eek is green, and it's like the same green in this fabric. So I think that fabric looks really cute. So now after the video, I'll go and just sew a little stitch through there. So let's find some pieces for these. So these have the orange. This has the orange. So let's find a little orange piece. It doesn't have to fold over. So this one is a little orange piece. I'm just going to stick that right here. Oops, nope, wrong glue. So let's stick that right here. Anyway, so I'll do a little short sometime and show you. I'll try to show you both my gardens. The impatiens back by my, I'm calling it my she shed, but it's for storage, and it might be a little play area in there for my granddaughter too, because it's a good size, so I have a lot of room in there for me and my granddaughter. Okay, here's another one with orange in the background. So let's see how this would look on here. I think that would be cute. So these I'm not folding over. I'm just gluing a little piece of fabric on the top. And then after the video, like you don't have to put a stitch through, but I just think that adds another touch to it, another texture, whatever you want to call it, either or both. That looks nice. And, you know, gives it that handmade junk journal look. So, let's see, this has got red in it. So I don't know if I'll use any of these. All have the orange dotted dots in the background. So I have a few pieces of orange here. Yeah, that looks cute there. I'm glad I can use these up because these were, all these pieces right here that I'm using right now were in my stash from last year. I just cut them up like this and left them in my Halloween stash. So now I'm using them. Okay, that is adorable. Okay, here's another red piece with red in it, but here's another orange gingham, I'm going to call it. So, yes, to answer a question that was one of my subscribers asked me, where did I see it? Under one of my videos? Or sometimes people email me or message me in my shop, so I don't know remember where this came from. But I think it was under a video. I'm going to even this up a little bit. There we go. But the question was, am I going to make any more Halloween journals? And I do want to. Maybe after, I want to do Christmas in July. And then after that, maybe, oh, this one I can fold over. Yeah, this one, I could either cut it in half or fold it over. I think I'll fold it over. Let's see which one I want to put it on. I think I'll put it on this one. Looks better on this one. So I have, if you saw where I showed you my Halloween stash, I have quite a bit of fabric. So in my mind, I already thought I would like to make some fabric covered Halloween journals out of that fabric, because I have a lot. If you saw that video, I was like, more fabric, more fabric, more fabric, because I found a deal on it a couple years ago on the Halloween fabric. I had found like an awesome deal, so I had to get it. I mean, I can tell you it was at Walmart, and it was well after, like, I don't know, I can't believe they even still had it. It was like 9 months after fall, like that far, like in the summer, after fall and Halloween and all that, and they still had some of the 5-pack of fat quarters of fall and Halloween fabric, and they were, are you ready for this? They were 50 cents. I almost had a heart attack. I was like, because I didn't know, they didn't have a price on them. They were just sitting there, and I was like, these got to be on clearance. So I took it to the register, and I was checking out. I was just going to, get, I figured it had to be on clearance, so I was just going to get one. Or I think did I bring 2 up there? I might have only brought one up there. But yeah, I was checking out, and it rang up for 50 cents. I was like, oh my goodness, I almost had a heart attack. And I went back. In fact, I think I was on my lunch break, and I didn't have time to go back. So I went back after work and got a couple more. Like, there was more there. I didn't even get them all. I should have, but I didn't. I just got a couple more because, it was like, how much fabric do I need? You know what I mean? So I think I sold 1 or 2 in my shop too. That was a couple years ago though. So anyway, okay, we did them all. I just got to sew through it now after the video. And I didn't do these right here because I'm going to run out of time, but I want to do the same thing to these, to these 3, because I have one of each. There's no repeats here as far as the design. I kept all the repeats separate, which are only these 3, 4, 5, right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the same as some of these, so I didn't want to do the same thing. I want to do something different even with those. So I got to think about that, what I want to do. But here's what we did today. And I show you the ones I did before the video, so I'll just show you the ones we did today. I only have this little bit of scrap fabrics left from that I already had in my stash from last year. 4 pieces, 2 reds, a little orange gingham, and a piece of Aida cloth. So that's all I had in there. Plus I have only 1 little piece of paper, black, I'll have to layer this with one of those on something, but 1 little piece of black cardstock here. So yeah, so I want to make some fabric journals to answer that question, and I'll answer it in the comments too. I think it was in the comments, but here is what we did today real quick. We did 1, 2, 3, 4. I need more room. Let me see if can you see? Yep, you can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And I will be sewing through all of the fabrics, just through the fabric, but I could leave them just like this and they'd be fine. I just, you know what I'm talking about. I want to sew through it. So, all right, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. And have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed, and hit the bell. Thanks so much. I'll see you later.